What's up, business math students? Today, types of mortgages. Oh, yeah. Let's get to it. So, we're going to go over a few different types of loans, uh, mortgages, right? It's basically just a loan you get to purchase your house, your home, right? And we're going to talk about the first one's going to be the granddaddy of them all, the 30-year fixed rate mortgage. This was that, I remember growing up, my dad told me, you're going to have to get a job. It's going to take you a few years. You're going to have to save up 20%. You're going to put 20% of the home price, down. They're going to, the bank's going to want that money. You're going to have to have something or some type of collateral. And, then you're going to be locked into this 30-year fixed rate mortgage and you're going to pay it off. And then you'll basically be done right around the time you retire. And then you'll sell your home and it'll be worth a bunch of money and you'll go buy a smaller home and that was the American dream, right? What you were supposed to do with a home. A lot has changed since then. And so you have this 30-year mortgage. One, it's predictable. Downside of it, if interest rates fall, you could be paying a higher rate, but you can always refinance, right? But then you got to pay costs and all that stuff. You got to find out if that's advantageous, right? And again, all of these are, you gotta look and see what's best for you, right? You'll hear a lot of. There's one on here that I will say don't ever do, but a lot of the other ones are. That's up to you. That's up to your income. It's up to how much you think you can do, how little you want to do, et cetera, et cetera. Just know the longer that you pay and the least amount that you pay, you're going to be paying for a long time and you're going to pay a lot of interest. So my information to you is try to get the least amount of time and the least amount of interest, and you should be good to go. 15-year fixed rate mortgage. I am very happy to say that my wife and I refinanced. We got a 15-year fixed rate mortgage. The interest rates went way down, and that was nice. So the interest rate's lower than a 30-year, which is nice. And you can pay it off faster. A large down payment was needed? No, it wasn't. So I had to pay some costs, some closing costs and stuff like that. It's going to be, they try to put these into like a cookie cutter thing, and there's so many different, for example, when my wife and I bought our home in Queen Creek, Arizona, it happened to be, it was considered rural agricultural land, and there was a policy that said you didn't need any down payment for the home, and you were able to get so much of a subsidy into the loan and all these weird things. And it ended up being like, okay, that's, just sign some paperwork and they gave you the house, right? That was also back when the housing crisis had just hit almost rock bottom. So they were just trying to sell off any remaining supply or surplus that they had. So we got lucky. And during the housing boom, they were giving everybody and anybody money, a loan. And that didn't work either. So, yeah. The next one we're going to talk about is a graduated payment mortgage. It's easier to qualify for. Your monthly payments are going to start out low, but they're just going to increase over time. What's the bad thing about that is you'll end up at the end paying more than you'd like. But, most people are they're okay with it. If I'm in a home, I got a home for my kids, my wife, my husband, my whatever. People don't care. A biweekly mortgage. This shortens the term of the loan substantially. It saves you a lot of money on interest. You're basically paying it off faster. So it's not good if you're seeking an early loan payoff, and you have to make extra payments. So. Adjustable rate. This is the one I would say don't do. Just don't do it. Just this was what got a lot of people in trouble during the housing crisis that erupted in 2008. It's lower rates, right? If rates fall, it could be adjusted down, and vice versa. monthly payments could rise if interest rates rise. So I would say it's better to be in a fixed, right? Even if the interest rates go down, you're like, you know, you can always refinance. If they go up, you're kind of screwed because they're gonna just increase them on you no matter what. So I really would suggest you stay away from an ARM, adjustable rate mortgage. Home equity loan. It's a nice way to get money. You just borrow against the equity in your house. So if you're, let's imagine your home was $100,000. You took out $100,000 to pay for it, and now your home is worth $300,000. You can, right? Your equity in there. You get an extra $200,000, right? I'll put that in quotes. In equity, that's if, that's up to if people will pay that for it, right? Your home is worth what people will pay for it. You can go and you can borrow against the equity. You can say, hey, my house is worth $200,000. Can I borrow, $50,000 to make some improvements? Or you'd be amazed at what people spend that money on. Some people go borrow money from the bank and just go buy stuff with it. So it amazes me. I would think you'd only borrow money to buy, big purchases, but I don't know. I've never been in other people's shoes, so I can't say anything. Interest-only mortgages, right? Borrowers pay interest, but no principal in the early years, right? 5 to 15 years of the loan. Early years build up no equity, right? So you're just paying off the interest. Again, all of these have their advantages and disadvantages. The one that's not on here that we'll talk about is a reverse mortgage. And these are hilarious because, people complain about them all the time. They're like, oh my gosh, they're just taking these old people's homes. Well, yeah, that's the deal. The bank comes in and says, we'll do a reverse mortgage. They say, we'll give you monthly payments. So instead of you paying the bank, right, you have to own your home. The bank, well, I take that back. The bank will give you monthly payments for what your home is worth, and they'll give you monthly payments. So it's basically if you're retired or you need extra money in your old age or something comes up, you can get a reverse mortgage. They'll pay you monthly payments, and typically they'll figure out when do they think you're going to kick the bucket, and when you die, the home goes to the bank and they sell it, and they take whatever's left. So, and they get paid back and then some. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's the gist of it. A lot of people don't like that because they think, oh, you're just taking old people's homes. And it's like, well, no, it's a binding agreement where old people have said, you give me money, bank, and when I die, you can have my home to get your money back. And that's it. If you're somebody who says, no, I want to leave my home to my kids, then don't do a reverse mortgage. If you're somebody who's like, I don't care, and my kids don't care, and I need some extra cash, go ahead. You have to find out what's best for you. So, and what you can swing and what you can do. Don't get into something, though, if you can't pay it. That's the thing. Don't get into something that's going to get you in trouble later down the road. Do what you can do. Most people find that they get themselves in trouble because they go borrow money for something that they really don't have the money to do. They think, well, I'm borrowing it, I can pay this much every month. That's really, maybe you should be doing that with, your home and your car, your necessities, the things you absolutely need. A new couch, washer and dryer. You might need to, for certain things, you might just need to save up the cash. But then again, I don't, that's up to you. That's what you need and what you don't need. So, and who am I to tell you what you need? That's up to you to decide. Anyway, we'll talk about mortgages and amortization in the next couple videos. Until then.